What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Traders Brawl podcast. The Traders Brawl podcast is a show talking to entrepreneurs, a voice for everyone in this space who are building in the finance and tech space. I'm Adel, I am the host, and we are here today with a new guest, Ayax Bader, who is the co-founder and CEO of Bellman Media. So please welcome our new guest, Ayax. I'm so glad you are here with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We met initially at the STEP conference.
Yes,
one of the networking events.
Exactly.
And from there, I realized there was a reason to have you on the show to talk about Bellman Media and also what you're doing in this space. So please introduce yourself.
Okay. Well, as you said, my name is Ayax Bader. I'm from Argentina. I've been here in Dubai for 4 years, I would say. I was working as a head of media marketing at a tech company here, and now we spinned off and created our own marketing agency / media company, let's say.
Very cool. And one of the things that intrigued me was the things that the videos that you were posting before Bellman Media. Is that correct?
Yes.
You were posting these entertaining videos.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so I'm originally from, my hometown is called Campana. It's a very small town, right? So I was working there. I wanted to be a filmmaker. I was a father very young, so I realized, okay, I need to make money very quickly. And for an aspiring filmmaker in Campana, it's not that easy. So I said, okay, you know what, let's start working. A lot of oil and gas companies there, a lot of automotive companies. So I started doing like that kind of content. But I felt like there's a creative need, to do more. And that was very difficult to like apply to the work I was doing. So I said, okay, let's see, what can I do? I'm here alone, like I know how to film and I know how to edit, but I'm just one person. So what I started doing is, because I was doing VFX as well a little bit, I started recording myself in front of a green screen and adding myself into movies. That was kind of like the way that I could find like a partner to act with.
Right.
So most of the time I was just watching movies and seeing like, okay, I see the scene, this is Will Smith talking to someone, all right, I can remove the other person, replace it with myself, and try some acting skills, by the way, like in the meantime. But yeah, I started kind of like posting those things, and luckily it took off. Like some people started seeing it. I did some cool collaborations with like Netflix and Prime Video.
You did some collaborations with them?
Yeah, it was actually the dream client that I had when I started posting videos, because it was difficult to get, how do you say it, like commercial collaborations, because I was using copyrighted material. Like I was using movies that I didn't own. If I'm doing something with Fast and the Furious, I don't own Fast and the Furious. Of course, when you see it on Instagram, you know that I don't own it. I don't claim that I own it, but a company cannot come and do content like that. Yeah. So I said, okay, who can hire me to do this? And then luckily Netflix showed up, and they were like, yes, go.
Really?
Yeah, do a thing. So whenever they were like promoting a new TV show or something, I would just get some access and do some videos. I did with Money Heist, by the way.
You did as well with Money Heist.
We were talking about Money Heist before.
Yeah. Wow, very cool. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's really great. And is that how you started getting more followers? How you built your following on social media?
It started with that. Yes, that was kind of like I wanted to do. Originally, I don't know if you know who Zach King is, that was doing some kind of magic editing videos. At some point in, I don't know, 2012, 2013, it was very famous, the guy. Well, he was from the Vine era. I don't know if you remember, Vine was a...
Vine, I remember, of course. 7-second videos.
Yes.
Yeah,
that shows my age. But yeah, I'm...
Zach King.
Zach King.
Zach King, yes, I know Zach King.
So I wanted to be like that guy. I started making videos like that, that kind of editing. Then I realized that there were more people trying to do the same thing, and we were always like the guys who wanted to be like Zach King. It was never my kind of videos. It was always like, oh, yes, you are like that guy. That's why I wanted to change it a little bit. But yeah, that's kind of how it went. For me, it was like just on a side note. I edited some videos for Zach King at some point in my career, which meant like, okay, I think I reached the level that I wanted, now I'm not going to do those videos anymore.
I see.
But I just wanted to prove it to myself.
You met Zach King as well?
No, just by email.
Oh, I see. Very
but
cool.
I signed an NDA, so I cannot say which ones I edited.
Of course, no problem. No, well done on this. And now you've moved on to Bellman Media.
Exactly.
When did you exactly start and launch this?
So I moved to Dubai in 2020. I started working at Ahoy. Well, you know Jamil,
yes.
And you know the guys. I started working with them in media and marketing. And now, a few months ago, I would say in the middle of last year, this restructuring started to happen. And we said, okay, you know what, let's take all the ideas that we want to do and make them a reality through this company. So we started building the core team and yes.
Very cool, very cool. And so as part of Bellman Media, was it you who came up with the name or was it Jamil?
It was, so it is deeply connected to what we want to do in several aspects. One of the reasons why Ahoy is called Ahoy, this is Jamil's involvement. One of the reasons why it's called Ahoy is because Ahoy was the word that Graham Bell suggested when he invented the telephone. So he suggested that people should pick up the phone and say Ahoy. So for us, back to the Ahoy days, one of the reasons of calling the company like that was linked to the innovation and because it was a navigation term and we were doing a lot of things in navigation technology. When it came to, okay, we need to build this subsidiary, or this sub-company, let's say, we found that there was a person in the old days, before newspapers and before all other means of communication, the way that the news were being announced was one person ringing a bell and shouting, hey, this happened, that happened. So this person was the bellman. And we said, oh, okay, so we have Graham Bell on one side, we have the bellman on the other side, all right, it combines. That's how the name came to be. There's also an inside joke on the side. The city that I'm from is called Campana, which translates in English to bell.
Bell.
So when I said, oh, let's call it bellman, I'm the bellman, they were like, okay, never tell that story, but I told it. And you have it, it's captured.
Be careful with English people. If you call them, Bell, I'm a bellman, they might, there are different, I'm just saying, it has connotations with bellend. No. But that's a joke.
We have that all the time.
Yeah.
Like we have I don't know, 60 nationalities in the team, so every time we had to name something, there was always something coming, oh, that means I don't know, anus of a donkey. And I'm like, oh, come on, man. Everything has a meaning for it.
It's true. You have to be so careful, but in the end, just don't give a damn.
Every naming idea we had, it was at some point it had to be checked with 60 languages. All right, doesn't mean anything. We're good. Let's go with this.
Okay. Very nice. And so I saw some of in your gallery in the website. You went to Yas Island. Did you do a collab? You were ambassador for Yas?
Yes, I spent 2 months last year. Yes. They did this contest looking for an ambassador.
Right.
It was after Kevin Hart left as the chief island officer. God. While he left and Jason Momoa came, they did this thing in the middle. Luckily, I did a video. I submitted my video for that role. I was selected. I spent 2 months there, trying. It was advertised as the best job ever, and it was.
Wow. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about it, because before hearing about it or anything, you had to submit a video.
Yes.
Is that correct? You had to submit a video to qualify? Or how did it work?
You had to submit a video explaining why you would be the right ambassador. And after that, there was a second stage in which there was an interview with Chris Fade on Virgin Radio.
Oh, yes.
And then, I don't remember exactly, I think based on those two things, there was some voting happening. I think it was like that. But yeah, I submitted my video kind of like the similar thing that I was doing with the green screen. The idea was, okay, I'm alone, what can I do to show that I would be the right ambassador? So what it is, I took their ads, the ads that they already made, I removed Kevin Hart from it, and I added myself. Saying okay, you know what, if you had hired me before, this is how your videos would look like.
Really?
And luckily, it worked. Yeah.
Wow. Do you still have that video?
Yeah, of course, I have the video submitted.
It's on. I mean, you uploaded on your social media as well, or not?
I did.
Oh, only
yes.
to them?
No, I uploaded on my Instagram account. Actually, I started that video. The first shot is like you see me, but I'm holding my head here on the side, like the attached from the body. Kind of like making like a very bad, lame joke about like I'm already ahead, something like this. Which luckily, I mean, they didn't judge me based on my comedy talent. It was more on the video editing side. So, but yeah, I knew I needed to like capture attention quickly. That's why if you see a headless person, okay, now you
got my attention.
Yeah, let's see what the headless person has to say.
Yeah, really cool, really cool. And right from that video, you got elected initially, or you had to come in for an interview or something like this.
No, I did the interview, and then I had to come supposedly for a second interview, which was actually the announcement. But I went imagining that, okay, this is a second interview, so okay, what more do you want to know?
Yeah,
and they told me, like, you got it. Okay.
And then afterwards, did they like cover traveling costs to Yas Island?
Yeah.
They covered everything?
It was just 2 months there.
2 months.
All expenses
you stayed there,
paid.
all expenses paid, accommodation, everything.
Exactly.
Wow.
A Maserati to drive around.
Really?
Yeah. Come, experience the whole island.
They advertise as the best job ever. What's the job name exactly?
Supposedly, it was ambassador.
Ambassador.
Mainly what I did is I experienced everything the island has to offer and created content about it.
Oh, I see.
So we did a lot of videos about it.
Did they pay you a salary as well, or just cover expenses?
They paid the salary as well.
As well.
There was a money prize.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. No, shout out to them. So I saw this was on Bellman Media, and is this? Would you say this was a commercial partnership between Bellman Media, or was this you and Yas Island?
No, it was me in particular, but mainly what I did is I added a lot of content that I was shooting before and while I was here in Dubai, and some things that I did with Ahoy, because mainly we want to keep the same direction in content we want to keep with Bellman as I was doing before.
I see.
Yes.
When it comes to actual commercial agreements with clients, Bellman and others, how do you onboard a client? Have you had any clients, Bellman and other?
Yep.
Well, how do you onboard them? How do you decide? Okay, you or someone reaches out to you and says, we'd like you to do media for us, cover this and that. How do you go about it?
Okay, we are working mainly, I would say, with tech startups. We are very linked to the tech startup ecosystem, through 2469 and the community and all of that. So most of our clients are actually tech startups. For me, it is very interesting to be able to work with founders directly, with the people that actually dream about this becoming a reality. And I find it also more appealing to work with startups in that way, because I know that that's where creativity pays the most.
Right.
Because it means you have limited resources. You have very specific resources to put your message out there. So I always believe that the creativity reaches like the maximum expression when it's limited. Like if you have all the resources in the world, of course you can afford to like, okay, let's try this, let's try that, something's gonna work.
Yes.
Now if you have this shot, okay, we have to be very precise. We have to think it all the way through and think of the most impact we can create with the less resources possible. So that's usually what attracts us when it comes to working with a new client.
I see. And they pay you as a retainer, or they pay per hour? How does it normally work?
What we try to do, well, actually, this is something that comes as a result of me trying to work with agencies originally, while in Ahoy. I found that it was difficult to get the service that we were looking for. Again, knowing that we have like very specific resources to use. I usually like use the same analogy. Like if you go to an event, you go to a tech event and you have 10,000 business cards, you're just gonna give business cards. Like someone's gonna call you back. Or maybe not, but you don't care, you have a lot of business cards. Now if you go and you only have 5, you have to be very precise. Okay, who's gonna get this card? Like what does it mean for my business? So for us, we kind of faced that the solutions that were offered to us were more like, okay, one solution tries to fit all, and we had like very specific needs. I need to do something to survive this month. Like I need to survive for the next months,
right.
And then
in Dubai.
In Dubai, yeah, and like to get these clients, or I need to get this or this or this. We cannot afford to like go on a yearly retainer and see if it works. This is kind of how it felt for us. So we try to extend that now to the startups that we work with. And we also like to offer some sort of partnership if they want to. Like in some cases, you don't have a lot of budget when it comes to this, but perhaps you have an amazing idea. And as a part of the 2469 community, we also believe that money shouldn't be actually the limitation when it comes to accessing of like cool ideas or innovation or whatever. So we kind of joined Ahoy in this quest of offering like services for equity and those kind of things, and kind of partnering with the company because we believe that you guys are gonna be successful. You just need like this little push. So if we can give it, perfect.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. And when it comes to the tech startups, right? You have to be very, like you said, very precise. You can't just go with everyone. Do they have to have a proper business plan, or it doesn't matter if they have a business plan or not, as long as they're willing to pay?
Usually, when they reach us, it means they have exhausted their like the possibilities that they had at their disposal, and they did this stage where like they raised some funding and they presented their business plan, which of course, when it comes to a startup, it's a very volatile thing. It changes all the time. Everything changes all the time. Like your vision, your mission, your brand is very fluid at that moment because you're just starting.
Yeah.
But I think I try to work with companies that I believe what they want to achieve.
Okay, you share that.
Yeah. I believe in your mission. Of course, you can offer services to companies that, okay, it's just one more thing, but we want to support innovation in a way.
Right.
If it's an incremental enhancement of something else, I feel like we are feeding part of what we are trying to change.
Right.
Understood. So that's why if we believe in the company, if we believe in the mission, then it's much more likely that we're going to achieve a better result, I think.
Interesting, very nice. Yeah. In terms of success stories then, could you share any specific examples that Bellman Media is particularly proud of working with and as an agency produced media for?
Okay, we are still working with some companies that we have a lot of faith for them now in 2024. One of the project that was very interesting for us was a while ago. Well, it was part of the team of Bellman Media. At that time, we were working at Ahoy. When we first joined, we were facing this situation that I was telling you before. Like we have very specific resources. Actually, I think the reason why I was hired at the time was because of this. Because we have very specific resources. And we need to create something that is not going to cost us much, but that will get us a lot of impact. And we did a campaign back then that I don't think we could pull off now. It was kind of like a parody, I would say. So what we did is we took the fireworks show of New Year's Eve, and I did some editing to make it look like I was appearing on the Burj Khalifa, and I was part of starting the show and the whole thing.
Oh wow!
Of course, I did it myself, I would say, because I didn't want any liability for the company, because I'm using it's a copyrighted thing. I'm gonna do it as a person, just posting content on Instagram. But I edited that thing to show okay, I was appearing there and I was sending a message and the whole thing. But at 10 seconds into the video, you saw that it was a parody. I was cutting, I was showing now, no, so we can do this, we can do that. And they would tell me no, we cannot do this. This is all copyrighted. That was kind of the campaign, right? The thing is that not a lot of people saw the whole video. A lot of people just saw the beginning. So then people were coming to us saying hey, did you advertise in New Year's Eve? And we're there's no way we can afford this. Like we don't have the budget for that at all. And we're saying, no, it was a parody. Like that was part of the idea. So it became kind of like a success. That was 1 month after I joined. It became kind of like a successful campaign for us because a lot of people were coming actually to ask us if it was real. That shows like how short the attention span is because nobody saw
the whole thing.
Nobody saw more than 10 seconds. We were trying very quick, to like explain quickly. It's a parody.
Yeah.
But nobody saw more than 10 seconds, so a lot of people believed that it was real.
My goodness. So, is this video on your social media accessible?
I don't know if we have it so far. If we have it yet.
Oh.
I think at some point.
You took it down, or
because. Again, like I was taking a lot of freedom when it comes to like copyrighted material, because it was me on Instagram. I was saying.
I know.
Now I know. This is what, by the way, the Netflix guy told me when I was doing videos with their content. As long as it falls into parody, don't take this as like legal advice. I'm not a lawyer, but as long as it falls into a parody category,
yes,
you can use copyrighted content. But you have to be very specific that, okay, I don't own this.
I don't own this content.
I'm using this to create a parody.
And many people use music, for example, in their stories or in their posts.
Of course.
Doesn't mean they own the music.
Of course.
You're just adding music to give your post some life.
Yeah, of course.
In YouTube, I see people, content creators, saying, I do not own the rights of this music. If you want to find the music, check the link here. Yeah. Okay, no, good to know. Really good to know. And in terms of like, okay, so now we're in the age of AI, and you're working for a tech company. We're in tech. Tech is everywhere.
Yeah.
Where do you see the future of marketing? Because I feel like AI, even marketing agencies are sort of becoming almost, dare I say, a dying field. With AI being able to replicate your voice, replicate your face, replicate your in sync with your mouth when you speak. You can literally upload a 10-second to 20 to 1 hour video of you speaking to the camera with your voice, with your sync and everything. And you can just type it up and it will write for you. You can get ChatGPT to write a script and it will write it for you. You can get Sora, it's called Sora, S-O-R-A,
I know
right? A new video creating.
Text to video.
Text to video is now being used to create video. Very, very accurate.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this?
Actually, the Sora one is a little bit frightening if you see how much it has advanced from last year until
this
now. I think the thing with AI, like, I have mixed thoughts about it. Like, on one hand, of course, like, we are overhyping AI a little bit, but it's okay. Like, I understand. The thing is, I work with a lot of tech people, and they're very skeptical about it. Especially the AI guys that work with us are very skeptical about most of the AI. And of course, it's a sexy term today, so everything has AI.
True.
However, I do believe that, consider this, what we are doing today didn't exist 10 years ago. Yeah. So we were quick to jump into that change and create our respective careers and work with that. So of course, we symbolized that the change at some point. Now the change is coming for us. Now AI is coming. So it means that a lot of the work that was being done manually before is going to be done by a machine, which puts us in the position that, okay, we need to do the things that AI cannot do so far. If what I'm doing can be replaced with AI, then I shouldn't be getting paid for this. Like, you should be doing AI.
Wow.
That's the thing.
That's scary to hear. But like you said, not everyone can replicate the edits that you do. For example, the cover photo that you did with your hand in your head in your hand. If AI one day is able to do that, okay, that really just tells.
Yeah, I think it goes to the, okay, what are the ideas, what are the stories that I can get people to relate to that perhaps AI could not, I would say. I'm trying, by the way, like, I'm not against that. I'm trying very hard to find the actual tools to write the scripts for my Instagram content, or even I try to do that clone, so I don't have to record anymore. Just type the text and then it does for me. So I'm kind of looking forward to reach that age, that state where we can dedicate all of that there. But yeah, I think, a lot of things are going to change in that aspect. A lot of jobs are going to become obsolete. Like it has happened since the beginning of time. Every time a new technology comes, I don't believe it is the doom of the industry. But I do think that marketing agencies are facing actually other things that are like coming for them, aside from AI. So it's an industry where you have to keep evolving.
Exactly, and this is where my next question comes. Do you foresee a scenario where Bellman Media may actually, you said resources is one of the key focus, one of the key restraints here is resources. If the same can be done with AI, will people no longer need to hire Bellman and just hire an AI agency that does it for them? Do you ever see a scenario where Bellman could be replaced by AI?
I think if we reach a stage in which we cannot, if we cannot evolve with the times and find exactly where we can put our differentiation factor, we deserve to be replaced by AI. That's what I think. If we are unwilling to change with the times, it's going to happen eventually. But in some point, like the official, let's say, the social media marketing model that used to work very well 10 years ago, it's not really working that well today, right? Most of the platforms are prioritizing other type of content. People want more, let's say, unedited, raw video more than the classic social media post that was working perhaps a while ago, that was driving engagement a while ago. I think it's kind of like a combination. What we advise is that companies have their marketing teams doing this kind of like research in terms of video and creating content and seeing what actually works for you, which is very difficult to get that from an agency. And you should look at the agency as an advisor in that aspect. Like, okay, I know what I have to talk about. Like, how can I put this in a structure that will actually work based on your understanding of trends on different social medias, or based on your understanding in, audiovisual structure or storytelling structure, those kind of things.
Because the Sora, the text to video, really did hit me, like really got my attention, because it almost looked like, wow, very, very, very accurate, very in sync with real people, and wow, it's crazy. It's for me as a content creator myself, as a host. I've done many of these hosting, so I'm sure AI can take my voice and just replicate everything I'm saying, replicate what you're saying. You're on social media everywhere, and then there's no need to be a host. There's no need. We have AI that can do that, and people will believe it. People from watching my content from across the globe, from a different country, can just be like, oh, cool, new video, like. They won't even know if it's authentic or not. And I have one solution to this, which is only one solution I can think of, which is the blockchain. Okay. The blockchain is where it certifies that you did this. It authenticates you. The certificate shows that I have a stamp that says this was actually me. I did shoot this. Okay. And that is later to come. And
Okay. Yeah, I think, at some point we're going to need some sort of validation. Not necessarily us, but there are a lot of political figures that you will not be able to trust.
Right.
Did they say what they say? You're watching a real person?
Right.
Not going that far away. I was editing myself so much into movies that every time I was posting an actual picture, it's like, are you really there? Is this an edit? I'm afraid, I'm hoping one day I'm going to meet Messi. Right? It's an idol for all of us in Argentina.
Of course.
But I edited so many pictures of me and Messi.
Together.
By the time that I meet him, nobody's gonna question. Nobody's gonna believe. So yeah.
Oh wow. Wow. Let's switch our conversation to a little on the work-life balance. So you're in Dubai now. Since 4 years, you said?
4 years.
4 years.
Yes.
You have a work-life balance, would you say? Do you have kids? Do you have a family? Do you go to the gym? How does it work for you?
Yes, I have a family. I have a daughter here. And to be honest, I don't believe that much in the work-life balance thing. But I think it's linked to the entrepreneur lifestyle. That, I mean, one of the things that success is not guaranteed in any way, but one of the things that guarantees that you will not succeed is if you're not passionate about what you're doing, right? And unfortunately, if you are passionate about what you're doing, you're going to be on that like 24/7.
Yeah.
So it's something that actually I learned here because I was, again, like I spent a long time working as a freelancer and building my own stuff there, but I was not surrounded by an ecosystem of other entrepreneurs where you could see, okay, so what I'm doing is not that wrong. Like this is actually how how it works.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course, like driven by that passion, it's very likely that the limits between your personal life and your work are going to be like, I don't know, a little bit mixed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I try to force myself, like to organize myself, not that much in the work side, but on the family side. To say like, okay, you know what, this is the day that I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna step away from the phone, from whatever, to like be able to attend to this. Otherwise, that's the thing, like algorithms know you so well that you will get feed things, and the content that I consume is very related to what I do.
Yeah.
So otherwise, like your mind is going to be here all the time. And I kind of experienced that. I was working a lot when my daughter was born, and I realized that like when she was like 3 or 4, like, okay, I kind of missed the first 3 years. Like I was working all the time.
Working.
So I said, okay, you know what, I need to
spend more time.
More time here. So I'm trying that. Probably if my wife was listening to this, she's gonna be like, yeah, you're not doing that very well. But I'm trying. That's the thing. I'm trying.
I had a similar conversation with Jamil, and he mentioned the same. You know, he's very passionate about his work, and he hasn't had the ability to spend so much time family-wise because of work. But he's passionate about his work.
Yeah.
Same. It's usually the same story with every entrepreneur I've spoken to and had on here. That the challenge still remains. There's no work-life balance. It's how you prioritize your time now versus and tomorrow, and the next day is always a new day.
Yeah.
You can never, no matter how well you plan it, you don't know tomorrow.
Of course.
Ever.
I wasn't very good at planning at the beginning, so imagine.
Right.
Now it's just.
And are you into fitness? Do you love sport like Messi? Do you play any football yourself?
We play some football here every now and then. I have like some other Argentinians that I know, and every now and then we do that. Yeah, I try to go to the gym every morning.
Okay, good.
But you know, this is a problem with this city. Because when I was in Argentina, we had half of the year was summer, half of the year was winter. In the winter months, it's okay. You eat whatever you want. You can have like a jacket, like it doesn't matter. But here you go to the beach like 10 months out of 12. It forces you. To
keep a good body.
Be in shape. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, that's the thing. Plus, you have the gym. Like, I go downstairs to my daughter goes to school at 6 a.m. let's say, and I have to walk past the gym and back to my house. If I don't go to the gym, I'm like, come on, I'm there.
It's a good guilt.
Yes, at 6 a.m. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go. I woke up, I'm gonna go.
No, good. And back to the work that you do. What would you say now is the biggest challenge? I know that you're an editor yourself. You edit all your videos. Or do you hire freelancers as well?
I am working with some freelancers now.
As well.
Yes.
Is editing like the most time-consuming process of Bellman Media? What's the biggest challenge? Would you say?
No, to be honest, we are doing some video content. By the way, what I try to do is to assemble different work units in different time zones, because I know that the demand here is quite fast. I would say, they want like fast returns. So it's easier, like if it's 7 p.m. here and someone requests something, I know I can talk to the Argentina guys, it's like in the morning for them, so they have a lot of time to work throughout the day, and the other day we have the result. That's a way that we are trying to achieve like this fast turnover, I would say. Editing, it is time consuming. I think the ideation stage it's not the most time consuming, but it's the most variable one, because you can come up with an idea in like a few minutes, or it can take you 3 days to come up with the right thing. Of course, it's easier if you exercise that. What I try to do, I read about a lot of people doing the same thing, is that you force yourself to think of something or to write something every day. So this is not the best, but this is what I have today. This is the best that I could get today. And by doing that, you kind of like force your mind to be in this constant state of, okay, we need to come up with something fast every day.
Interesting.
I read about this like, I don't know, a year and a half ago, and I've been trying to do it. So yeah, I believe I had some good ideas like that. I had some very bad ideas as well.
And Bellman Media, would you say works as on a freelance basis? Because you work with startups and you have limited resources. So like you said, you don't always have a client. There are some days you don't have any clients. Is that correct?
No. We have clients that we are working on.
It's an ongoing.
Yeah, that we have an ongoing relationship. Actually, I mean, as a part of the Ahoy ecosystem, I would say we have 8 sub-companies under Ahoy that we are managing at the moment. And we have some other clients. Especially, we met a lot of people through the community, through the 2469 community, that we tried, because we kind of support the vision as well there. I find it like very interesting to go and like talk to new people and see what we can provide.
And the main thing the main deliverable from Bellman Media is video content, not so much other like email marketing agency content stuff, more video. Is that correct?
We do some. We actually, I mean, we are kind of like a 360 agency in that aspect.
So you do email marketing.
We do email marketing. We do campaigns.
Stuff.
The whole
everything.
thing.
SEO
Yes.
management as well.
Exactly.
Ah, okay.
The thing, it goes mostly to what is the goal that company is looking at the moment. And for most companies, it's a very. We had this discussion like quite often. It's quite a confusing situation that they find themselves in, because, I mean, we have access to a lot of information today, right? But that information is very contradictory. So if you go to listen to let's say the gurus of marketing. Now, you go online, you find, say, Gary Vee goes and says, hey, you have to do 10 TikTok videos every day or your company will not work. And then, I don't know, someone like Neil Patel says, yeah, you know what? A lot of companies are putting resources here, but what actually drives sales is still the SEO and the email marketing and the paid ads. So as a startup, you're like, okay, what do I do?
Right.
I don't have the capabilities to go and try everything.
Yeah.
So it's more important. Okay, what do you want to achieve? Like, what is the goal, and what resources do you have available? And let's find the best way for that. It's in the end, both are a little bit right. This is the position that we are in.
Right.
Both sides are a little bit right.
And from the clients that you have worked with, what have they prioritized when they come to you, to Bellman Media, saying we need growth? What is their priority when it comes to the media that they ask for?
In most cases, I mean, because we're talking about like either startups who just launched their MVPs, who are just going into business, there's a lot of work that is done in the branding aspect.
Branding. So like social media marketing branding, or?
Especially in the differentiation between what branding means and what is usually understood by branding, which again, like I don't want to paraphrase. Like you can go on YouTube and find Seth Godin talking about this much better than me. But usually, like this misconception that branding is the logo.
Yeah.
And there's a very like fun exercise in that. If you ask people to think, okay, think of a good logo that you can remember, right? You start thinking about it, and most likely the logo that comes to your head is associated with the brand that you like, not a logo that you particularly like. Like me, when I used to work as a designer at some point, if I had drawn the Nike logo, perhaps someone would have been like, yeah, I don't know, it's just like, even, you know, one of a very famous logo, which is the Starbucks one. Like, you know the story about the Starbucks logo?
I actually don't.
It's a, okay, let me find like the family-friendly way of saying it. The Starbucks logo originally, when the company came out, they're from Seattle and they're very linked to the ports and, you know, the sea activity. So it was a siren, which is like like a mermaid, but the bad kind of mermaid, the one that's like was stinging to the sailors to eat them, you know, that kind of thing. Like if you saw Pirates of the Caribbean, at some point they have like all this. So the original Starbucks logo was a siren with two tails in a very suggestive pose and with the chest exposed, which is not, I mean, if we do that now, they will like, I don't know, send us to jail here in Dubai. And they started like shifting it and make it a little bit more abstract. At some point in 2008, they tried to bring that logo back. But in the end, like the bottom line is, when you see the Starbucks logo, it's a lot of identifications, like it's a symbol that represents what the brand stands for. So if you think of the Starbucks logo as a nice example, perhaps it's because you are aligned with more the brand than the symbol itself. So all of this aspect of, okay, what does it mean to build a brand, and are you ready to go into that process? Perhaps it's not the goal that you are looking for at the moment. Perhaps you want to drive more sales. Perhaps what you're looking for is more marketing activities instead of the brand. It's like the tortoise and the hare, you know, like one is short term and fast, and the other one is the long term, to build this reputation, this feeling that people will get when they hear your name.
I see.
Yeah.
And so when you say branding, you very rightly, I think, pointed this out. It's not just the logo, but the first thing that comes to my head is website, logo is part of it, social media, so the design of the social media, you know, you have to pick a theme.
Yes.
Normally, you don't have to, but ideally it's good to have a theme.
Yeah.
And then that's the first thing that comes to head, branding. What does your brand stand for? And then also a nice tagline that really goes with who you are, your vision and your mission. Okay. And then a promo video, 1 minute or less, to show what your services include.
Okay.
Is this something that you have done, like you provided a package and this included all of these for them?
Yes, we have provided like all of those services for them. However, there's still like, it goes one step beyond when you speak about the brand. Again, like I invite you, I don't want to paraphrase a lot of things, because I consume a lot of content about these things. That's why sometimes like I don't want you to quote me if someone else said it. I mean, if you're gonna quote me, I can go quote like Einstein or something like that. Yeah, the thing is, when it comes to branding, I mean, there's a great, again, Seth Godin has like a great example of this, of the branding aspect, and it's if, okay, I'm gonna use an example that is not very relatable for startups, because we all want to be like Apple or Nike or whatever, but
of course.
Because these guys have done it so well that it's very easy to identify. If Nike were to open a hotel, you kind of get an idea of how it's gonna look like. Definitely. But if Hyatt was gonna do a shoe, you don't know.
Hyatt, Grand Hyatt.
Yes. You don't know what, because in the end, Nike spent a lot of time and effort into building a brand that stands for high performance, that stands for like athlete at the maximum expression. And hotels at that price point really don't have much difference. If you remove one logo and you put another one, it's the same hotel, it's the same experience. I'm not gonna pay extra to go stay in a hotel because it has one name or the other. So that means that it's not really a brand, it's a commodity. It's what they're offering. The brand is how much are you willing to pay for something versus the alternative. How much am I going to pay for this phone because it's this phone instead of going to this one? Even though they have proven me that this phone is better, I'm still buying this one. Why? Because it symbolizes something. Because I find the story relatable. Either the status, the fear, the affiliation, any of those aspects, which is how people relate to stories. I relate to this. I stand by this. That's why I.
Makes sense.
Of course, it's a very, very long process. I'm speaking in theory. It's not really what we do with startups here, but in some cases, like for example with Ahoy, that we established that, okay, we want to work on this. We want to build the brand.
And roughly, how long are the time frames that you deliver on these? Like, how long do they last? The campaigns and things.
No, usually depending on what they want to do, like we have very quick and short campaigns. I mean, if they're going for very specific conversion, if they're going for very specific performance, or in some cases we establish, okay, you know what, this is what you want to achieve, you want to become the authority in this topic, this is how we propose. It's going to be like a 6-month process.
Oh, okay.
We do kind of long-term things. What I really don't want to do is to force people into long-term relationships when they really don't know if this is what they're looking for at the moment, if this is actually what's going to deliver on the objectives that they have today. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I want to make it like very tailored for each startup because, I mean, aside from the fact that almost all startups kind of like start the same way, every journey is different. Like some people received investment, some people are bootstrapping, so I want to tailor it to each experience.
Makes sense.
That's the thing.
We're going to wrap up soon, but if you could have your dream client, Bellman could work for a dream client, who would it be and why?
It has to be now, like someone that is.
It could be in the future.
I don't want to say. I don't want to say Inter Miami because I want to work with Messi, but no, you know what? I think I would like to work with. It's not a startup per se, but I would like to work with the Saudi Football League.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So Bellman doing media for them.
I think I would suggest some strategies for. I mean, our relationship with football in Argentina is like very
passionate.
Yeah, we're very tied to football in general.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of potential. There's a lot of like good things that the Saudi league is doing. They're trying to put like the Saudi league on the map. They're bringing like players from the best leagues in the world to play here. But I think there's a lot of opportunities in branding that one as the super league that wants to be. To build that brand of like the superhero league, so you can have your Ronaldos and like, okay, you don't have Messi, but you can have like Ronaldo and like Neymar and all these guys and Benzema. I think that would be a very interesting client that has a lot of potential to.
And that would be a very great branding for Bellman as well, showing that you worked for them. That would go through the roof. Like, we want to work with Bellman now. They work for.
We used to work with some football teams in Argentina. That's why
you're biased.
I know what worked there. I know what worked there with the teams that I liked. So I think we can probably apply some ideas.
And finally, going back to where you started before Bellman, and you were doing these videos for yourself, things like that. Is there still like personal branding? Would you, from a personal branding advice to people, to content creators who are watching this, what would be the best advice you can give them in terms of how they can build their own personal brand?
I think in terms of building your brand in particular, let's say you as a person, aside from a business point of view, from a personal point of view, and from the content creator point of view. I used to teach, by the way, content creation at NAS Academy. You know NAS Daily.
Yeah, I know NAS, yeah. You used to, not anymore.
No, not anymore.
Wow.
I used to teach visual effects and content creation there. And to be honest, one of the key elements of that is consistency, right? When you're putting content out there, consistency is kind of like one of the things that kind of makes or breaks your success. Of course, it helps a lot if you know how to edit. Of course, it helps a lot if you know how to tell a story. Storytelling still is the way to engage with people. That's why sometimes you see videos that are shot like that, and you still like watch the whole thing. I don't know, someone saving a puppy from drowning, and you see it, and it's like you relate to that story. So I would say that, of course, luck plays a huge role in that aspect. Like some people create 100 videos until they have one that is successful. But you can increase the chances of getting lucky the more content you put out there and the more you work on your craft. Perhaps your first 100 videos are going to be awful, and then you're going to find, okay, you know what, if I do this, this works. Okay, you know what, this strategy actually works better for me. Actually, so you start like learning on the process, and eventually, I mean, you increase drastically your chances of success the more content you put out there, the more you're willing to.
So more content and consistency.
And consistency and storytelling.
And storytelling.
Focus on storytelling with
Very good. Thank you so much, Ayax.
All right.
Really appreciate your time here. Very
Thank
insightful.
you. Thank you so much.
I think definitely there's lots of key takeaways when it comes to what you said about Bellman Media, how they establish themselves, but also personal branding, what branding even means, right? Which is people have different meanings of it. So really thankful for your time, and keep producing wonderful content that you always do.
Nice. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you found this insightful, and I will see you at the next one. So keep following our page, keep staying with us, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.